You think creatine is just for bodybuilders? Not anymore. What if I told you just one scoop a day can help you hold on to muscle, sharpen your memory, and protect your brain as you age? Today, I'm going to unpack the myths and look into new 2025 research and explore why creatine might be one of the most powerful and affordable anti-aging tools available, especially if you're over 50. Welcome to Ageless Island, where we blend science and strategy to stay strong, sharp, and ageless. I'm Gina, and in this episode, I'm spotting creatine, a supplement that I think has been hiding in plain sight for decades. I did some research, and I'm amazed at how much we've underestimated this simple compound. I'm not a doctor, and this isn't medical advice, so please talk to your healthcare provider before changing anything or starting any supplements. So first of all, for those of you who haven't heard of creatine, what is it? Creatine is a compound that your body makes from 3 amino acids, arginine, glycine, and methionine. It's found in red meat made by your liver, and then it's stored in your muscle and your brains to help you regenerate ATP quickly, or your body's cellular energy currency that we talked a lot about in the methylene blue video that I'll put a link to down below. It's been studied over 100 years. It's one of the most studied supplements ever, with over 1,000 peer-reviewed studies, and it's one of the most trusted and validated supplements available. So, like hormones, as we age, our creatine stores dip also. So that also affects our muscle and our energy capacity. So that means less strength for everyday motions, like slower repair and recovery when you go to the gym. You get fatigued more easily. But creatine isn't just about movement. It also helps fuel your cognitions too. It helps fight stress, sleep deprivation, or even age-related brain changes. The other cool thing about it, it's also vegetarian and sometimes even vegan friendly too. So this is really helpful for my vegetarian friends out there when you're already eating little meat, so you have low baseline creatine levels to begin with. One of the biggest things I keep hearing about creatine that makes people kind of afraid to take it is people are worried that it damages your kidneys. Well, this comes from confusion between what is creatine versus what you see in your blood test, the creatinine. So creatine is the actual supplement that we're talking about, and creatinine is a waste product from your kidneys that's measured in the blood test. So supplementing with creatine can raise these creatinine levels, but it doesn't necessarily mean kidney damage. It's just a result of this increased turnover in your muscles. So there's been a couple of studies, one in 2022, an ESPEN study, showing that older adults that took 5 grams a day for 6 months had no change in their kidney function markers. This included EFGR and their serum creatine. And also a 2019 Mayo Clinic review, it was a meta-analysis of 12 studies showing no adverse reactions for long-term use up to 10 grams a day in healthy individuals. Now, what to think about, though, is if you already have a chronic kidney disease, creatine isn't going to necessarily be harmful, but it can make your labs difficult to interpret. So definitely let your doctor know you're taking creatine, and probably talk to them ahead of time to make sure that they realize they may have to do another test to really test the real functioning of your kidneys and what's really going on in there. Something important now for my listeners that are not hitting the gym regularly, so you think maybe creatine isn't something for you, is that creatine can still help you even if you're not working out, but within limits. An interesting fact is we lose up to 8% of our muscle mass per decade after 40. And this is even more rapid for ladies in menopause. Studies are showing that older adults that take creatine can help slow down age-related muscle loss, even without exercise. So that's huge. It works by giving your muscles more energy for everyday motions like getting up from a chair, climbing upstairs, or even carrying your groceries in. Some trials are even showing better strength performance just in simple strength tests in older adults taking creatine, no workouts required. I've got some of my parents taking it, and they have both noticed an increase in their energy and muscle since taking creatine. But there is a catch. Without adding resistance training to your creatine, you'll only notice modest increases in lean muscle. Think of creatine more as a preservation tool. It will help you hold on to what you've got and maybe increase it a little bit. But the magic will really happen if you pair it with some simple strength training. Now, this doesn't mean you have to go and lift dumbbells at the gym and go crazy. It could be body weight exercises. You could do push-ups on the wall. You could do some squats. You could do kill drops, and even resistance bands or the rubber cords that you could add in your doorway. Anything that actually puts stress on the muscle will help creatine perform even better. the difference creatine can make. So in people over 40 that are lifting weights and add creatine, you can gain about 2 to 4 pounds of lean muscle mass just in a few months compared to just exercise alone. So that might not sound like a lot, but in older people, it could be a huge win, enough to improve your strength, your balance, and for some people, even get your independence back. And this is a really cool thing that's been happening that people have, I guess, just started discovering with creatine, is it's showing that it can really help your brain as well. It can improve your working memory. It can support your reasoning ability. And even if you have sleep deprivation, it can help you with cognitive strain. There's been some studies. So one showed younger adults taking 5 grams a day for 6 weeks improved their actual working memory and their cognitive test scores. And then in older adults, creatine improved their short-term memory and reasoning ability. There's even a preliminary 2025 study or multiple studies that are showing that it could play an important role in conditions like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and recovery from a traumatic brain injury. Unfortunately, these are early, not conclusive, but it's really pointing to some possible great positive results in the future. So worth following and continue research. Also, there's bone health. So here's one for my over 50 listeners. Creatine paired with resistance exercise has been shown to improve your bone density. There was a 2023 Canadian study that found in postmenopausal women that you had better bone turnover markers compared to exercise alone. So this can help make creatine be a secret ally in your fight against osteoporosis. For heart health, there's early pilot data. Again, this was a small study, but still promising, that's showing seniors may actually get improved artery function when they add creatine. They took 12 healthy seniors, half of them took creatine, half of them didn't, for 4 weeks. Then they took their cardiovascular health. And what they saw was creatine improved artery dilation, which is critical for reducing heart disease. In fact, a 1% drop in artery dilation increases your heart attack risk or stroke by 13%. So creatine can help to prevent that from happening. Research also suggests that creatine may support healthy blood vessel function. But like I said, there's more studies needed. This was a small study, but looking good for the future. It also showed better oxygen delivery in the small blood vessels, better blood glucose levels, and triglyceride levels. So all in all, very promising. Then there's the postmenopausal perks. So if you're not taking estrogen, your estrogen drops as you're older, and that can affect the levels of creatine in your body. However, if you add creatine, then this can help you maintain your muscle quality even without the estrogen. So if you're not sure or if you can't take estrogen, go back, take a look at my HRT video. Creatine can play a great role in improving your muscle fiber integrity and boosting your muscle regeneration. It can also indirectly support your bone health because if you've got the muscles tugging on your bones, the bones are going to get stronger too from the added muscle mass. There was a 2020 study that showed postmenopausal women that used both creatine and exercise in a 12-week training program actually gained twice the lean muscle mass than those that weren't using creatine. So that's pretty big. For me, it's not a substitute for hormone therapy, but for active women, creatine may help you bridge that gap in your muscle loss. So how do you take it? Research shows that you should just stick with the old-fashioned creatine monohydrate. I recommend a third-party tested brand. It's the most studied version. It's been proven safe and effective, like I said, for hundreds of years, and it's affordable. You'll find a lot of fancier creatine versions out there that promise, more absorption, less stomach upset, but really none of that is proven and doesn't have the reputation that just good old-fashioned creatine monohydrate has. I recommend a starting dose of 3 to 5 grams daily. A lot of people, especially in the bodybuilder community, think there needs to be a loading phase where they take 20 grams a day for a week. But a lot of research has shown that's really not necessary. What's really important is that you have a steady dose that you stick with it daily, and it will saturate your bones and muscles within weeks. You may get a faster saturation with the dosing, but you really don't need it to happen that quickly because it can upset your stomach at doses like that. However, there is research coming out that's really interesting that suggests your brain may need slightly more creatine than just your muscles. 3 to 5 grams is great for your muscles, but research suggests that the brain can benefit from a higher intake closer to 10 grams a day. It's still being investigated, but again, a lot of promise in these investigations. So if you're looking at creatine just for the muscle capability, then 3 to 5 is great. If you have some brain or thought processing issues you want to look at and try creatine for, maybe once you start with 5, if that agrees with your body, bump that up gram a day and see the difference in the effect. Timing doesn't really matter. You can use it before workouts, after workouts. But unlike caffeine, it doesn't give you an instant boost. It's more about saturating your muscles and your brain over time. One thing that can help is taking it with food. So what is a really good idea is to go to your workout. Then after your workout, if you have a meal, then take your creatine with that meal, because that can actually help your absorption. But the most important thing is consistency. Just be sure to take it every day. Doesn't matter time of day, really, in the long run. What we do is we get up in the morning, we get about this much water. We put our 5 grams of creatine in and our methylene blue, which again is in another video. If you want to go back and watch that, I'll link to that also. And I put vitamin C in it, mix it all up, and we just take it all at the same time. And then it's easy. It's just that little bit to drink, and we're taken care of. And speaking of methylene blue, since both affect your ATP energy, I started wondering, how do they work together? So they do both give you more cellular energy, but they work in different ways. So creatine is more like a backup battery. And once it's full, your muscles can then regenerate energy faster, giving you more endurance. Where methylene blue is more like a backup wiring system. So over time, it feeds your cellular power plants of your cell inside your mitochondria, keeping your energy flowing smoothly and evenly over all the time. Together, they're like a spark and a steady current that keep your body and your muscles running at their best. And then I also wondered, when I heard that creatine was made of glycine, if there was any issue with me taking glycine as a supplement, which is something I also do, and I'll cover in a later video. So I did some research on that, and here's what I found. They actually can work symbiotically together. So if you have glycine in your body, then it has to make creatine if you're not supplementing with creatine. But if you're taking creatine, then that spare glycine can be used for other things like building collagen, helping you sleep, or helping your antioxidant system build up in your body. So they don't compete with each other. They actually are a benefit to use together. Now, like all supplements, not everybody should take every supplement or take creatine. For most people, it's really safe, and maybe a little stomach upset, but that's probably all. But if you already have existing kidney damage or kidney disease, you really need to talk to your doctor. Again, it doesn't mean you can't take it, but you just should do it supervised. And this is just more of a precaution, not that you can't take it if you're not hydrating, but if you're taking creatine, your body does need more water, because the water is brought into your cells from the creatine. The other parts of your body may not stay as hydrated if you're not drinking more water when you're taking creatine. And then the other thing, if you're taking anything that impacts your kidneys, like NSAIDs or diuretics, just be cautious with the use of creatine, because that's just putting an extra strain on your kidneys. And as far as side effects, they're really rare. The only one really is the stomach issue with too much. And then some people complain about bloating. But what I've seen, it's more just kind of a plumping up of the muscle cells, more so than like your stomach is getting bloated. And usually this fades with use. This is something I haven't seen when I use it, but there are documented reports where people do experience it. And it's a really cool time for creatine, and I'm glad that it's getting the new rebound that it's getting, and people are learning more about it, and it's just not for the gym. I think we're watching it shift from a bodybuilding powder to something more mainstream, like a vitamin D or an omega-3. It's safe, it's affordable, it's been studied a lot. It can support your muscles, your brain, your bone, and possibly even your heart health. So after 50, it may be one of the best things and simplest things you can do to upgrade your body and make your performance better. Again, it's not just about performance, though. It's also about energy and optimizing your energy for your muscles, your brain, and for your aging cells. So if you've used creatine, I would like to hear about your experiences down below or in your comments. Let me know your experiences. Let me know what you found, what supplements you take with it, how they might interact with each other. And if you have any questions, I'd like to hear this too. Also, please let me know if there's anything you'd like me to research and do a podcast on. I'd love to hear from you. Please subscribe to Ageless Island for more strategies on how to stay strong, sharp, and ageless inside and out. And I'm excited for my next podcast because I'm going to be changing things up a little bit. We just got back from French Polynesia, and we met a wonderful lady there named Yvette, and she's a local guide in the island of Moorea, and she explained to us some things about some healing plants and just the flora and fauna and some of the traditions and legends. And I'm going to share some of that with you in some upcoming episodes. So until then, take care, and thank you again for watching.